On the second day of the winter vacation, Zhang Cheng started the design and development of a new mobile game project. The reference is to God's Run, a popular game that is still unreleased. Of course, Zhang Cheng wouldn't be stupid enough to copy God's Escape directly, but would instead plan a whole subway parkour-like game. When this kind of parkour game became popular, I don't know how many different types of parkour games were on the market. There are Q version and semi-Q version. There are also those who run on the subway, those who run in the city, those who run on snowy mountains, and even those who run on cosmic planets. Daily cool running, skiing adventure, Indian parkour, agent parkour, ninja raid and so on. Zhang Chengdu couldn't remember exactly how many kinds there were. But if he wants to do it, he will definitely make a parkour game with Chinese elements. In the design document, Zhang Cheng recorded several parts to be implemented. The characters are chosen to be semi-Q, which is both realistic and not too Q-oriented. For the type of running, choose subway or road rail intertwined. Naturally, most of the running sections are repeated using algorithms, but for the general scene, Zhang Cheng plans to reproduce some well-known railway sections in China, including modeling of the surrounding special buildings. With a preliminary plan in place, the next step is to start development. Zhang Cheng roughly broke down the code parts that need to be implemented in this game. Due to the popularity of touch screens, many trigger actions must be replaced by touch triggers, and when characters move left and right, the gravity sensing system of the mobile phone needs to be called. These are brand new projects and topics. Zhu Jian howled in the Cuckoo group, "Third brother, I'm convinced. Your creativity is so awesome. Don't worry, I will complete the task assigned to me to the letter." Not to be outdone, Xu Saiyuan said, "I am fairly familiar with the Java language, and I have no problem with some simple codes." "Me too," Hao Yongjun replied. Zhang Cheng subconsciously thought of Zhang Fei's divine picture. But right now, everyone is chatting with each other, and emojis are still rarely used. After all, traffic is expensive. Zhang Cheng. Okay, everyone, think more about it during the winter vacation. If you don't understand something, study it by yourself. When school starts, we can start to sort out some of the code. Zhu Jian. Okay, I just don't want to go and pay my respects. The 7 aunts and 8 daughter-in-laws are too scary. Zhang Cheng and others. 8th daughter-in-law? After discussing for a while, Zhang Cheng closed the group chat. The tasks he assigned to everyone were not many, and the requirements for Hao Yongjun and Xu Saiyuan were simple login and main interface. This piece of code was relatively simple. But in the future, code optimization and requirement refinement will be needed. According to the thinking of programming, even if the main body of the character is a pixel running ahead, as long as the basic jumping, left and right movement, squatting, shoveling, action algorithm is accurate, and there are no problems in avoiding obstacles, it will be considered a basic success. All that's left is to turn this object into an exquisite 3D character, with more movements, special effects and so on. Well, relatively speaking, it's not particularly difficult. In the brilliant internet cafe, Qin Jin played a few games and became a little bored again. At this moment, he was watching Zhang Cheng chatting with his roommate. "Damn, Noriko, your roommates are so awesome. Not bad, they're all guaranteed." As a poor student, Qin Jin looked up to him very much. "Your school is better. In my school, all the roommates paid less than the entry points. They just got diplomas. I don't care what happens to them. You should devote your time to Java language practice," Zhang Cheng said seriously. "I know, I only play a few games every week on the weekends, and I study questions every day." Qin Jin faced Zhang Cheng, feeling full of pressure, and he also listened to what Zhang Cheng said. "I'll give you the book you recommended. Bought them all." "That's pretty much it." Zhang Cheng nodded. "Pull me, I'll give you some pleasure." Naturally, he came to the internet cafe to play games. Zhang Cheng was busy with his own affairs and planned to relax. Ever since, the scene started to look better again. "Chungza, be careful upstairs. Damn, you are so accurate." "Okay, one more shot, kill them to death. Awesome, 666. Qin Jin has become a tool man who can only shout 666. The perspective of his computer has changed to Zhang Cheng. Watching him shoot headshots one after another, as if he shot them himself, it just feels so good. It was a pity that Zhang Cheng only played with him twice, and he still had some unfinished ideas. Zhang Cheng's home is located on Yanjiang Road in Nanchang, which can be regarded as an old city. But in fact, my hometown is not from the city, but from Zhangfang village. It's just that Zhang Yiping had been doing White Lotus business in the county for a long time, and later borrowed money to open a Nanzhou store here, and the attic was used as a place for his family to live. Next to Nanzhong store, there are bags after bags of White Lotus. As the Chinese New Year approaches, Zhang Yiping is no longer busy and even helps look after the store when he has time. But the store is closed today. Zhang Yiping drove a pickup truck and took his family to look at a house on the other side of the river. Hey, let me tell you, we can live in our attic, so why waste money on buying one? Chen Ru was still reluctant to spend money on the way. She runs a small shop, and all she handles is small sums of money, so she takes money more seriously. But not stingy. Zhang Yiping snorted softly. You don't understand. Housing prices are not high now. Even if Chengza doesn't mention it, I also have the idea of buying a house this year. Zhang Cheng held Chen Ru's hand and said, Dad is right. When housing prices rise in a few years, it won't be worthwhile for us to buy it again. That's true. Chen Ru laughed and looked at Zhang Cheng, but the attic is a bit small, and it won't be convenient for children to get married in the future. Zhang Cheng was embarrassed. Mom, you are thinking too far. Your mother is right. Zhang Yiping replied. After looking at several real estate properties, Chen Ru was not very satisfied. We have to think about getting married and having children in the future, and we need at least 4 bedrooms, otherwise we won't be able to live in it. Chen Ruzhen looked at the apartment and became a little entangled again. The layout of these 4 bedrooms doesn't feel very good. Although Zhang Cheng didn't understand the orientation and feng shui of the house, it only sufficed to face south and have good lighting, so his requirements were not as high as those of the 2 elders. Hey, isn't this Zhang Cheng, our top pick in Guanglan? Why is he here to buy a house? Just when Zhang Cheng was looking at the room types, a strange voice came over. Zhang Cheng raised his head and looked at the source of the sound. A fat guy wearing a yellow down jacket was walking towards Zhang Cheng. Searching his memory, Zhang Cheng felt that the other party was a bit strange. However, relying on his photographic memory, he still remembered that the other party should be in the rockets class in the 3rd year of high school. Do we know each other? Hey, I'm Luo Shengshang from Class 1, Science, Grade 3, and I'm repeating my studies now. Sorry, we don't know each other. Let's get to know each other. This property was developed by my uncle. How about I ask him to give you a discount? As he spoke, his nostrils were turned up to the sky, very proudly. Zhang Cheng didn't understand what the other party meant, so he shook his head directly. No need, I don't like the good ones. Hey, my uncle's riverside garden is the best real estate in Guanglan. Luo Shengshang looked unhappy and pointed at the model in front of him. This is Linjiang. There are so many houses along the river. Luo Shengshang said again, come and buy from our property. You're the top pick. If you buy, I will tell my uncle to save some money. Zhang Cheng waved his hand. I don't like the layout of the apartment. Zhang Yiping didn't catch a cold either. Ningza, let's go. Zhang Cheng and others left directly. Luo Shengshang was left with a gloomy expression on his face. Huh, what's so great about being the #1 scholar? I can also be the #1 scholar this year. After leaving the sales department, Chen Ru asked, Chengza, is this your classmate? No, we haven't been in the same class. Zhang Cheng shook his head. Oh. Chen Ru didn't comment, but she felt a little disgusted with such people. I can read, but I can't be a human being. Chengza, why didn't you invite me to buy a house? Just as he was about to get into the pickup truck, Qin Jin came over on his bicycle. It looked like he was riding hard. Zhang Cheng immediately asked him to put away his bicycle and got into the pickup truck together. Are you planning to buy one too? Hello, uncle and aunt. Qin Jin got in the car, greeted Zhang Cheng's parents first, and then said, that's not true. My dad is also a contractor after all, and he knows the quality of these houses better. Okay. Qin Jin, if you didn't tell me, I would have forgotten about it, Chen Ru said with a smile. But just because 2 young people are familiar with each other, it doesn't mean that their parents are familiar enough to ask for advice on buying a house. Zhang Cheng patted him on the shoulder. What do you recommend? Go to Jade Pavilion. That house is of good quality and has a good layout. This riverside garden is no good. I heard my dad say that the doors and windows they install are of poor quality. Qin Jin thought for a while. Zhang Cheng smiled and said, well, just now a classmate from my class swore that Riverside Garden was the best. Who? His name is Luo Shengshang. The fat one should be from our rockets class. It's him, I know him. Qin Jin laughed. Let me tell you, when you took the fourth model, didn't you get 597 points, and that kid was 1 point less than you. I heard at that time that you were going to be reported for cheating. Woolen cloth. Is there such a thing? Zhang Cheng was focused on reviewing at that time, but he never thought about such a weird thing. Then you know, Qin Jin smiled from ear to ear. He estimated his score for the college entrance examination to be 650, but actually he only got 550, and he became the laughing stock of class 1. Oh, no wonder I reread it. Zhang Cheng nodded. Yes. Now in these rocket classes and repetition classes, the teachers are using you as an example, driving them crazy. Qin Jin chuckled. Fortunately I didn't reread it. Zhang Cheng's heart turned out to be like this. Have you become a big mountain in their hearts? Well, he is handsome and excellent, no wonder he is envied, jealous and hated by others. When he arrived at the Jade Pavilion, Zhang Cheng was somewhat satisfied. Chengzi, you are so rich, how many units are you going to buy? Qin Jin bumped Zhang Cheng's shoulder and pointed at the real estate model. Zhang Yiping and Chen Ru were discussing on the side and were also very satisfied. It's not far from Nanzadian, only 600 or 700 meters. New property, good location and quiet. Zhang Cheng pointed to the 8th and 9th floors. Buy a 2-story building. You can open it up and make it a duplex. After being used to staying in the attic, Zhang Cheng really likes duplexes. It's just that the original attic was a bit low in floor height, making it a bit depressing to live in. Attic. When I moved in, I was told that the floor height was pretty good, but when I moved in, I was told that I was short. Bitter. Mom and Dad, what do you think? After making the decision, Zhang Cheng asked Zhang Yiping and Chen Ru directly. It's pretty good. The price is okay. Chen Ru expressed satisfaction. Zhang Cheng pointed to the chosen place. The 8th and 9th floors are good. How about we decide on it? Okay. Zhang Yiping agreed, took the wallet, and prepared to take out the card. I'll come out. Zhang Cheng raised his cell phone to show that he had money. How much money can you have? Keep it for yourself and marry a wife, Chen Ru said funny. Qin Jin chuckled. Chengzi is rich. He is also a great writer, and his royalties are more than 3 million. What? What writer? More than 3 million? His name is Luo Shengshang. The fat one should be from our rockets class. It's him, I know him. Qin Jin laughed. Let me tell you, when you took the 4th model, didn't you get 597 points, and that kid was 1 point less than you. I heard at that time that you were going to be reported for cheating. Woolen cloth. Is there such a thing? Zhang Cheng was focused on reviewing at that time, but he never thought about such a weird thing. Then you know, Qin Jin smiled from ear to ear. He estimated his score for the college entrance examination to be 650, but actually he only got 550, and he became the laughing stock of class 1. Oh, no wonder I reread it. Zhang Cheng nodded. Yes. Now in these rocket classes and repetition classes, the teachers are using you as an example, driving them crazy. Qin Jin chuckled. Fortunately I didn't reread it. Zhang Cheng's heart turned out to be like this. Have you become a big mountain in their hearts? Well, he is handsome and excellent, no wonder he is envied, jealous and hated by others. When he arrived at the Jade Pavilion, Zhang Cheng was somewhat satisfied. Chengzi, you are so rich, how many units are you going to buy? Qin Jin bumped Zhang Cheng's shoulder and pointed at the real estate model. Zhang Yiping and Chen Ru were discussing on the side and were also very satisfied. It's not far from Nanzadian, only 600 or 700 meters. New property, good location and quiet. Zhang Cheng pointed to the 8th and 9th floors. Buy a 2-story building. You can open it up and make it a duplex. After being used to staying in the attic, Zhang Cheng really likes duplexes. It's just that the original attic was a bit low in floor height, making it a bit depressing to live in. Attic. When I moved in, I was told that the floor height was pretty good, but when I moved in, I was told that I was short. Bitter. Mom and Dad, what do you think? After making the decision, Zhang Cheng asked Zhang Yiping and Chen Ru directly. It's pretty good. The price is okay. Chen Ru expressed satisfaction. Zhang Cheng pointed to the chosen place. The 8th and 9th floors are good. How about we decide on it? Okay. Zhang Yiping agreed, took the wallet, and prepared to take out the card. I'll come out. Zhang Cheng raised his cell phone to show that he had money. How much money can you have? Keep it for yourself and marry a wife, Chen Ru said funny. Qin Jin chuckled. Chengza is rich. He is also a great writer, and his royalties are more than 3 million. What? What writer? More than 3 million? In the end, Zhang Cheng paid for the entire 8th and 9th floors. Zhang Chengcheng let his parents decide how to decorate the house later. Of course, Zhang Chengcheng did not have to pay for the decoration. However, Chen Rudu still kept asking curiously, Nariko, writing online novels is really so profitable? 3 million, this was a number that she didn't even dare to think about. She doesn't understand anything about these new careers created by the internet. Fortunately, if you write well, you will earn more, Zhang Cheng explained. Then Qin Jin, did you also write it? The New Year flavor in Guanglan is getting stronger and stronger. The green trees on the streets were decorated with lanterns and couplets began to be written at home. Even the Pengsheng bookstore that Zhang Cheng went to was filled with New Year's goods, including couplets, lanterns, red envelopes, toys, etc. Zhang Cheng bought several red envelopes, a pair of couplets, and a blessing character. I withdrew some cash again, and then prepared for the new year. Most people in Guanglan belong to the Hakka people, and they also have Hakka customs during the Chinese New Year. On the first day of the new year, Chen Ru asked Zhang Yiping to take a large bunch of firecrackers back to his hometown and set them off in the hall. It rang for a long time. As a consolation to the ancestors, Zhang Cheng, a descendant of the Zhang family, was admitted to Shuimu University. Relatives coming and going were all smiling and blessing Zhang Cheng's family. Next, there were visits to relatives and friends. Zhang Cheng didn't know how to stay home, so he followed Yang's father for most of the visits. If we don't move around, relatives will always feel disconnected from each other. Fortunately, Zhang Cheng didn't have many relatives, and they were all gone by the 3rd day of the new year. On the 4th day of the Lunar New Year, Zhang Cheng invited Yu Xinren and Qin Jin to go to their teacher to pay New Year greetings. Zhang Ming was very happy and asked him to drink tea and eat. You three are all in Kyoto, so you have company, Zhang Ming said with a smile, and he was deeply impressed by them. Zhang Cheng drank the tea and said, are we the only 3 in our class to choose a university in Kyoto? Yes. Chen Hao chose the university in Jiangzhou, and Li Long chose the university in Arcalan province. Zhang Ming nodded and recalled. In his impression, although other people also did well in the exam, their scores were a bit low after all. Most of them were in Karlan province, and a few were selected to schools in other places. In the past, Qin Jin was not afraid of the teacher when he skipped classes and fought, but he didn't want to follow Zhang Cheng and change his gender. Now he was a little afraid of the teacher and didn't say anything. Yu Xinren said, we all go back and forth together. It takes a long time to take the train in Kyoto. That's true. Zhang Ming glanced at Zhang Cheng and Yu Xinren again, and said with a smile, you have to take the college entrance examination in high school, and falling in love is not encouraged, but it is still possible in college. You can talk about it to avoid regrets in life. Yu Xinren stopped talking in embarrassment and blushed on her face. Zhang Cheng didn't know why Zhang Ming suddenly mentioned this. There's no rush. I think we should seize the time to learn knowledge in college. Hey, you should relax after studying. Zhang Ming suddenly fell into memories. I still remember that when we were studying in the teacher's college, we had to be secretive when we fell in love, and we had to go to the dark woods. I'm looking for people everywhere with my flashlight, haha. Ahem. Seeing that Zhang Ming had forgotten the occasion, Zhang Cheng coughed repeatedly to remind him. Only then did Zhang Ming react and saw his wife coming from the kitchen with an unhappy look on her face, preparing to heat water. Zhang Ming blushed and stopped talking. Yu Xinren smiled and quickly pursed her lips. Zhang Cheng changed the topic and said, "By the way, Teacher Zhang, have you gone for a physical examination?" "No. Where does the time come from now? This semester, I was asked to teach high school seniors in a repeat class. I'm so busy that I feel dizzy." Zhang Ming touched his head and said helplessly. Zhang Cheng wanted to remind him again, but then he thought it was the 4th day of the first lunar month, so it was hard to say such unlucky words. Yu Xinren saw Zhang Cheng's intention and asked about teaching. "Are you repeating a lot of classes this year?" "Duo. Many people failed to pass the exam last year. I plan to fight again this year." Zhang Ming then sighed. "However, this class of students is far behind you. Alas. I really don't know when I will meet Zhang Ming again. He has become such a good seedling." Zhang Cheng smiled and did not answer. "Do you have time to come to the review class to talk about your review methods?" Zhang Ming suddenly invited. Zhang Cheng waved his hand. "I'm sorry, Teacher Zhang, I'm also busy with a project recently." Zhang Ming nodded in understanding. "I'm just asking. I know you must be busy too. However, I think that when reviewing for the college entrance examination, you still need to do targeted questions, find out where your shortcomings are, and do a lot of similar questions, so as to improve your performance." Zhang Cheng explained his method. "Of course, you really can't teach about plugins." Qin Jin ate snacks and said with a smile, "It's just to study the questions until you die." Zhang Ming agreed. Qin Jin can imagine that these students in the senior high school class and the repeat class will have a miserable life in the future. "It's great, I don't care about the rain." After leaving Zhang Ming's home, Yu Xinren couldn't help but ask, "Zhang Cheng, why do you keep reminding Teacher Zhang to have a physical examination? I think this is the second time you have said this." "Ah, is there any?" "Yes, I told you this once when you were drunk at the entrance party." Yu Xinren remembered it clearly. Qin Jin was also a little puzzled. "Chengza, you just celebrated the New Year, why are you talking about this?" "Hey, you don't understand." Zhang Cheng shook his head, not wanting to explain anything. "Is it possible to tell them that I am reborn and know that Zhang Ming will get cancer?" Who would believe it? Yu Xinren didn't ask further. "My mother is familiar with Teacher Zhang, and the teacher organizes physical examinations every year. I'll ask her to help." "Okay." Zhang Cheng nodded. "If it can be detected in advance, it may be possible to save a life." The vacation ended soon, and the three of them went to Kyoto together as usual. During the less than a month's vacation, Zhang Cheng spent most of his time on the development of the Subway Runner game. Although it didn't last long, who allowed Zhang Cheng to have a cheating internal computer? In the internal computer, Zhang Cheng writes code very quickly. Zhang Cheng has basically completed half of the core code part. Including the main trajectory parameters of character movement, the height of jumping, the height of shoveling, etc., as well as the random appearance algorithm of obstacles and roads. These are the key points, and Zhang Cheng has already preliminarily written the code. It's just that they are not perfect enough, and the effect of demand realization is relatively simple. Zhang Cheng came earlier, and Hao Yongjun's three roommates hadn't arrived yet. In Chaoko, after Zhang Cheng took time to settle the printing matters with editor Yang Hua of Jinghua Publishing, he went to the casual coffee shop in Zhongguan Village. He is interviewing an assistant here. Although Maple Fire Network Technology Company is registered, it has always been an empty shell. In fact, Zhang Cheng is the only one. Zhang Cheng needs to find an assistant to slowly build up the company's structure. Not to mention distribution channels, Zhang Chengcheng has no one to run the game. What he wants to build will be hits and money-making ones, and naturally they need a company to run them. Of course, he doesn't need a whole big company now. In the beginning, keep everything simple. Salaries, renting venues, etc. are all money that needs to be wasted. There were two people who came for the interview. They all have experience working in small game companies. One male and one female. Zhang Cheng was already very familiar with their information. The man's name was Wang Wei, and he had just left. To be honest, Zhang Cheng didn't have a very good impression of him. There is some feeling of high self-esteem. After seeing Zhang Cheng's youth, he felt somewhat contemptuous. Later, when I found out that I was the only one in the company, my dissatisfaction showed on my face. After chatting for a while, Wang Wei excused himself and left. What is in front of me now is a woman, 31 years old, married, and has a daughter. He has short hair, a smart suit, a coat, and simple makeup. The face shape and body shape are both slightly fat. The moment she saw Zhang Sheng, she was somewhat surprised, but her good qualities quickly calmed her down. The two shook hands and said hello. Mr. Zhang, I am Li Silin. Sit down. Zhang Sheng stretched out his hand and asked, then sat down first, what would you like to drink? Just a latte. A latte, thank you. Zhang Sheng ordered the waiter next to him. As for him, he was drinking plain water. I didn't expect Mr. Zhang to be so young. Li Silin flipped her hair and spoke first with a smile. Zhang Sheng introduced himself. Zhang Sheng, the owner of Fengwo Network Technology Company, graduated from the Computer Science Department of Shuimu University. Then Mr. Yang's technical level should be very good. Not bad. Have you heard of the Maple Fire puzzle? Zhang Sheng was no longer modest and asked directly. I know, I still have it on my phone. Li Silin took out her phone, a Sangsheng 9100, and there was a Maple Fire puzzle game on the home page. It's very exquisite, but there are a few levels. Zhang Sheng nodded. Yes, there is currently a studio under the company, and all of them are top students from Shuimu. The company's strength is very good, Li Silin said bluntly. Those who majored in computer science at Shuimu will choose those big companies after graduation. It is impossible to take a look at a small company like Zhang Sheng. Of course, what she didn't know was that the studio friends Zhang Sheng was looking for were not graduates, but current students. Zhang Sheng didn't point it out. I've also read your resume. What do you think of our company? I have worked for 2 small companies before, and the time was quite long, but the company failed to manage well and closed down. Li Silin explained the reason for leaving her job to find a job. I have been a human resources manager and operations director, and I have quite a lot of experience. But my academic level is average, so big companies don't like me very much. Zhang Sheng nodded. Her resume was for a junior college. Undergraduate or working. Zhang Sheng now doesn't need anyone who is too arrogant. At least for now, it is the right way to develop the company first. What are your salary expectations? 8,000 to 10,000. Zhang Sheng's expression remained unchanged and his eyes remained steady. Currently, the company is relatively small and there are not many people. You are required to do both personnel and daily operations. No problem. Li Silin's face was slightly happy, which meant that she had applied for the job. Zhang Sheng stood up and stretched out his right hand. Okay, Manager Li, welcome to join us. Thank you, Mr. Zhang. Li Silin also stood up and shook Zhang Sheng's hand gracefully. The salary is 8,000 yuan per month, and the year-end performance will be determined based on the company's operating conditions. Zhang Sheng explained. Okay, I accept. So, Mr. Zhang, where is the company's office? Not yet. Li Silin was a little surprised. So, how many people are there in the company now? Just the 2 of us. I just applied for the job, can I leave immediately? In any case, Zhang Sheng spent money to recruit a department manager of a small company. The salary was not high, but it was not low either. After recruiting people, Zhang Sheng began to select the location for the office space. After checking online, Zhang Sheng took the newly recruited Li Silin and took a taxi to Simao Building, where he rented an office space with an area of only 200 square meters. The rent is 3 yuan and 90 fen per square meter per day, and the monthly rent is about 23,000 yuan. The design of these office buildings is relatively good, with basic workstations and 3 small offices separated, each only about 6 to 7 square meters. Let's take this as the starting point of the company. Looking at the small office space in front of him, Zhang Sheng was also a little happy. This is the true sense of having your own company. It's no longer about working for someone else. Li Silin nodded. This place is pretty good. We are an internet company and we don't need a good location. Zhang Sheng pointed to the small cubicle by the window. Leave that one to me. You can choose a cubicle yourself and recruit people in the next few days. Okay, boss, we will do whatever you say. Li Silin nodded and responded. I just don't know how many people we need to recruit. What are the requirements? 1 front desk and customer service person, 2 programmers who are familiar with Java game design, junior college or above is enough, but more experience is required. The other one is an artist, and one game designer is enough. Zhang Cheng knew what he was thinking. Finance. Let's recruit one first. As for the salary, Zhang Cheng explained it again and initially set a standard. Zhang Cheng estimated that the salary of these people would be around 40,000 yuan per month. Coupled with these operating costs, the monthly cost is at least nearly 70,000 yuan. Okay, I'll write it down. Li Silin took a small notebook and wrote it down. Currently, the company only has a game called Maple Fire Puzzle. I need people to recruit people to update version 2.0 based on this game. Zhang Cheng reminded. Li Silin nodded. Okay, boss. Zhang Cheng raised the corner of his mouth slightly. The studio my friends and I built is currently an affiliated company and is currently developing a new hit game. When you operate the puzzle game, pay attention to communicating with those publishers. It is estimated that for announcement of the month. Li Silin's eyes lit up. Is there a new game? Yes, the specific type will be kept secret for now. Zhang Cheng was extremely confident, looking at the scenery outside the window, feeling a little comfortable. Li Silin looked around. The company's office space is now available, but it still needs to be listed and simply decorated, including the internet, computers, flowers and plants. Do we need to purchase it? Yes, you can draw up a list based on the personnel you need now and submit it to me. I will transfer the funds to you then. Zhang Cheng nodded. On average, each person will be equipped with computers, flowers and plants according to the standard of 12,000 yuan. The office conditions should be as good as possible, and each workstation should have 2 monitors. Okay, I feel like I'm going to be exhausted these days. Li Silin shrugged and sighed softly. This was her first time encountering a company that was starting from scratch. Zhang Cheng reminded, you have to recruit a few people first and organize them together, otherwise you won't be able to do it alone. Okay, I'll try my best to recruit people in the next few days, and the boss will interview them, right? Li Silin looked up at Zhang Cheng. Anticipating that school would officially start in 3 days, Zhang Cheng nodded. I will try my best to come for an interview when I have time. Okay. Li Silin was also capable. Then she looked at Zhang Cheng's office, asked some requirements, made suggestions on some necessary things, and started working in a hurry. Zhang Cheng stayed for a short while and then returned to Shuimu. If there is any specific situation, Li Silin can contact and ask for instructions through Weixin or Qianku. On February 16, 2012, Zhang Cheng's first company officially launched. The first thing to change is the company name on the wall at the front desk of the office and the company name plate on the left side of the entrance. Kyoto Maplefire Network Technology Company, Limited. The logo is an image of interconnection and network connection, and the image is like fire. Zhang Cheng hand painted it himself. Today, Zhang Cheng's sketches are quite impressive under Yu Xinran's remote guidance. The weight of strokes, the distinction of levels, the control of light and shade and color are more precise. After all, with the existence of a computer in his body, what Zhang Cheng was thinking about could easily form a picture in his mind. He just learned some techniques to describe what already existed in his mind. Thinking about the decoration effect of the new company, Zhang Cheng drew it on the white paper with the tip of his pen. Through the sketched green plants at the front desk, you can see the workstations in front. The back of a programmer appears in the painting, writing code furiously. On the table, there are potted plants, water cups, and figurines. Further away, there is part of the workstation in the picture, as well as the window through which the faint light shines. After the painting was completed, Zhang Cheng was somewhat satisfied and sent the picture to Yu Xinran. Zhang Cheng. Is my sketch ready for practice? Proud. Yu Xinran. Awesome, I feel like I don't dare to teach you anything anymore. I will be surpassed in a few months, and then I will look at you from afar, speechless. Zhang Cheng. That can't be helped. Geniuses are so incomprehensible. Goldfinger. Are you polite? Yu Xinran. I don't know what to say, so I agree. Zhang Cheng. I plan to learn some color painting next, so that the pictures I draw will be more realistic. Yu Xinran. What else do you want to learn about painting? You can just print in color. Zhang Cheng. Hey, some cameras can't capture the things I drew. Yu Xinran. That's true. However, what is very important in painting is the understanding of color. You know, red, yellow, and blue are the three primary colors, and other colors can be matched by their combination. Zhang Cheng. I know that. Then I'll find some books to study. Yu Xinren. Okay, wait until the day you hit me again. Zhang Cheng. It's okay, you'll get used to it after being hit too many times. Yu Xinren. Disgusted. By the way, what you drew is the company you run. Zhang Cheng. Yes, I just rented an office in Simao building today. It's almost 200 square meters and the rent is 23,000 per month. Yu Xinren. The rent is so expensive. Zhang Cheng. There is no way, every inch of land in Kyoto is precious. Yu Xinren. You are so awesome, I believe your company will be able to grow and develop, come on. Zhang Cheng. I accept your good advice. Come and have a look when you have time. Yu Xinren. Okay, maybe I can apply for a job at your company when the time comes. Zhang Cheng. Welcome. After closing the chat, Zhang Cheng continued to write code with a smile. We must speed up and get the subway runner out earlier. Zhang Cheng is not very impressed with the release date of God Escape, but he roughly remembers that it came out in 2012. This kind of game will be very popular in the next year or two. Especially many people use fruit pads to play. By the time school started, Lee Silin had already recruited 3 people. There is a receptionist, a girl named Lin Xiaoxiao, who has graduated from high school and is someone who can find an easy job. Salary 3,500 yuan per month. Mainly responsible for answering company calls and temporarily working part-time as customer service. A programmer named Zuo Zhang was an employee of Lee Silin's previous company, and she pulled her over. The salary is 6,800 yuan per month, which is about 500 yuan higher than the previous company. Zhang Cheng had specially interviewed him. He had a plaid shirt and loose hair. It was obvious from a glance that he had a lot of experience. After Zhang Cheng's questions in a small test, although he was not very good, he could handle it fairly well because of his design experience. Of course, Zhang Cheng's level surprised and admired him even more. In addition, we have hired an art artist who is a prospective graduate from an ordinary art school. He is currently doing an internship. If he wants to stay, he will have to wait until he graduates. The artist is a girl, with slender fingers, pretty good looks, average level. Her name is Ding Kai. Zhang Cheng looked at her painting and felt that her level was not bad. Of course, for now, Zhang Cheng will not be able to recruit anyone better for a while. Relax, everyone has their own choices. After returning from the computer purchase, the newly recruited employees began to organize their workstations. Zhang Cheng saw that school was about to start and he had no time, so he organized a meeting for them first. The purpose of today's meeting is to update MapleFire Puzzle version 2.0. Zhang Cheng put the source code in a USB flash drive and introduced it through the newly purchased projector in the small conference room. Zuo Zhang is a technical man and admires Zhang Cheng's creativity and coding skills. He listened very carefully at this moment. Then the algorithms of these parts can remain unchanged, but the updated version of the puzzle will have the ability for players to upload their own local pictures and choose how many pieces to randomly choose. Artist Ding, I need to creatively design some patterns. I have initially summarized them into several categories. One is architecture and the other is landscape blockbusters. For landscapes, you can buy some copyrighted pictures. For architecture, you need to embody hand painting and present landmarks with different characteristics. Okay, boss. Ding Kai was very obedient and agreed directly. Zhang Cheng put down the laser pointer. Of course, if you have any good ideas, you can also mention them in the group. I will take a look when I have time. Then, she said to Lee Silin, Director Lee, you need to follow this project closely and try to release an updated version of MapleFire Puzzle before the end of March. Lee Silin rolled her eyes in her heart. When recruiting people, she called Manager Lee, and when she was in charge of projects, she called Director Lee. However, he still responded, Okay, boss, I'll hire another programmer to speed up the update process. Okay, that's it. We advocate holding short meetings to discuss things. If there is nothing to do, we won't call everyone to a meeting. Zhang Cheng sat on the rostrum, looked at the few people in front of him, and handed the USB flash drive source code to Zuo Zhang. Go ahead. Several people left one after another. Li Silin stepped on her high heels and reported on her current financial situation. Zhang Sheng became the owner of this company and transferred 300,000 yuan in advance. The rent currently costs 23,000 yuan. Staff wages have not been paid yet. Office decoration also cost more than 60,000 yuan. Spending money is like running water. Zhang Sheng felt a little emotional. He still had to make money quickly. Only a steady stream of income can allow the company to grow and develop normally. Sitting in his office, Zhang Sheng didn't feel comfortable. On the contrary, he felt like he didn't have time for himself. Behind the big desk is a row of bookshelves, but there are currently no books. On the left is the rest and reception area, making the small office look compact. From the window, you can see the Zhongguan village area in the distance. This is where his technological dreams took off. Department of Computer Science, Shuimu University. School starts in the new year. The weather in Kyoto is still a little cold, but the Spring Festival has just passed, and everyone is still full of New Year's smiles. Hao Yongjun was swaying in front of Zhang Sheng in new clothes. Lao San, how are you? How about the login interface and the game's main page for Si Yanzheng and I? Zhang Sheng opened the software and was debugging it. It's not bad, I put a lot of thought into it. Hearing Zhang Sheng's praise, Hao Yongjun smiled brightly as if he had been praised by the teacher. Yeah, I didn't go out much during the winter vacation. Zhu Jian also walked over. Look at mine. Zhang Sheng then tested them one by one. I was filled with emotion in my heart. After all, this is the Shuimu computer department, and its level is not comparable to that of students from ordinary schools. Just like Qin Jin, he also studied computer science and technology at Sanban School, but compared with Hao Yongjun and Xu Saiyuan, his level and ability are not a bit inferior. Hao Yongjun and the others studied on their own for half a year and were able to complete part of the game code independently. Although the parts given to them are relatively simple, but the overall code problems are not big. Although there are some bugs, they are not particularly big ones. But Qin Jin can't. If you talk to him about these needs, he can't figure out how to realize them. Algorithmic thinking is also lacking. After stopping the test, Zhang Sheng turned around and said, "Okay, after a basic look, our progress is pretty good, but there is still a long way to go before the project is completed." Zhu Jian and others sat down and started a small project meeting. Zhang Sheng is undoubtedly the leader in the project, leading the development and design. That's true. We have only initially completed some of the project requirements. Zhu Jian nodded. He had some complete project development experience and had a better understanding of the entire situation. Xu Saiyuan snorted. Third brother, just assign the tasks directly. Okay, let me talk about the next task. Zhang Sheng had the basic arrangements in mind and said directly, what we have basically done so far is mainly part of the code in the main program. Zhu Jianlai and I will continue to improve the latter part. Boss, second child, your next step is to design the code for obtaining gold coins and super props and realizing their effects. Although Hao Yongjun didn't quite understand what the gold coins and props were used for when he listened, he still expressed the question, okay. I will package the background music materials, subway and surrounding architectural materials, Zhang Sheng continued. In addition, the most important thing is the characters. The cool running game Zhang Sheng wants to realize is not a simple two-dimensional game, but a true three-dimensional game. This requires character modeling and action design. We currently need 3 characters. They have slightly different skills and action designs. Of course, the more important thing is their appearance. The first character is given as an initial gift, and the second 2 need to achieve certain achievements to unlock the gift. Zhu Jian smiled and said, I know, this is to attract users to keep playing. Absolutely. Here, I will resurrect the design once for free. The next step will require a certain amount of gold coins or diamonds to resurrect the design. Diamonds need to be recharged to purchase. Zhang Sheng introduced his profit points. Hao Yongjun was more anxious. Then let's get going. I'll first ask Saiyuan and I about the specific needs. Then, he pulled the stool forward, sat next to Zhang Sheng, took the notebook and began to ask about his needs in detail. Xu Saiyuan was more calm, but still listened carefully. Facts have proved that Zhang Sheng does have the ability to independently design and lead the development of a game project. This ability also convinced him. In the following time, Zhang Sheng went to class during the day and wrote code crazily in his free time. Of course, he outsourced everything that needed to be outsourced. As Party A, you have to make demands and time limits. This doesn't work, do it again. Is this music? Is your character designed to be a zombie? In short, the quality must be high and the effect must be good. You ask me how it is? I don't know either, but it just makes me happy. Zhang Sheng rarely experienced the beauty of Party A's father. 1 month passed quickly. It was the weekend again. Zhang Sheng did not go to the library first, but went to his Maple Fire Company. Lin Xiaoxiao at the front desk was watching the show boredly. When she saw Zhang Sheng come in, she hurriedly turned off her phone and stood up. Mr. Zhang, you're here. Yeah. Zhang Sheng nodded, ignored her, and went directly to the workstation. During this period, we hired another programmer named Shen Kanghao, who had more than a year of experience in small game design, and a financial staff member named Li Li. At this moment 2 programmers are testing the game. Li Silin, as the operator, was also watching. Boss, you're here just in time. How about taking a look at the updated version of the puzzle? Li Silin heard the noise and stepped aside when she saw Zhang Sheng coming. Boss. The 2 program men were also ready to stand up and say hello. Zhang Sheng waved his hand, continue to try it out, and I'll take a look too. Shen Kanghao uses an emulator on his computer, while Zhuo Zhang directly uses his mobile phone to test. The test was also projected onto the side display. Zhang Sheng could see clearly at a glance. Zhang Sheng looked at the levels of the new version of the puzzle. There were 50 levels in total, and they all needed to be unlocked one by one. Of course, everything tested here can be turned on. In the first few levels, there are postcards, oil paintings, murals, wall paintings, and bottle paintings. The styles are more diverse, while the textures and pictures maintain a good level. The puzzle fragmentation algorithm was optimized again by Zhang Sheng, which better differentiates the difficulty levels of elementary, medium and high levels. The harder it is, the more fragments it has, and the more similar shapes it has. Zhang Sheng raised the new HTC phone in his hand and said, "Send me the test version." Okay. Zhuo Zhang turned off the game and sent the packaged program to Zhang Sheng's button on the computer. Download and install. The installation speed is not very fast, but it is not slow either, and I quickly entered the game. Automatically generated nicknames make it easy to play. You should add a stop on the version 2.0 startup interface so that users who played before can log in with their mobile phone number, password and Weixin account. Zhang Sheng reminded. The account database is connected to this area and can communicate with Tongfei. This is a good thing to promote Weixin, and Zhang Sheng believes they will agree. Zhuo Zhang and Shen Kanghao nodded and replied, "Okay, boss." Afterwards, Zhang Sheng sat down and speed passed all the levels, which took more than an hour. After all, after 2 tests, there are no bugs. Zhang Sheng asked a few small questions while playing and asked them to improve them directly. Then he went back to his small office. Li Silin held the document and waited for Zhang Sheng to sign it. We are ready to announce the release. Zhang Sheng then said, now the popularity of Maple Fire Puzzle 1.0 is almost over, and the average online rate has dropped by more than 60%. We have already made preliminary contact with Mijia, Warwick, Green Blue, and Yo-Yo Software. They will put our games on the shelves. Li Silin said, if promotion is needed, I have budgeted that the cost will be at least 100,000 yuan. Then spend 100,000 to announce it. Zhang Sheng agreed. The cost of the updated version is not too high, but the level is higher than the previous version. After all, Zhang Sheng's own level was not very high at that time, and he was leading a new recruit named Zhu Jian. Although the programmers in the current company are not highly educated, they still have sufficient experience. With the popularity of the software and user stickiness, Zhang Sheng judged that this would have a good effect on the company's subsequent game releases. Okay, boss. This is a document for the past 2 weeks and needs your signature. Li Silin agreed and handed the document to Zhang Sheng. Zhang Sheng looked carefully and saw that he had asked for instructions on the buttons before, and now he was filling in the signatures. I think we should hire a programmer as soon as possible and let him lead the project development, Li Silin said later. Zhang Cheng raised his head and glanced at her. Knowing that she was busy, he nodded and said, "Okay, let's recruit someone as soon as possible. If it goes well, the new version of the puzzle will also be able to make some profits for the company. But no amount of Zhang Cheng can guarantee it." Li Silin was very fast. After testing again with no problems, she contacted the channel that afternoon and directly put the Maple Fire Puzzle 2.0 version on the shelves. For other users who have downloaded, a notification of the updated version is pushed. They only need more than 10 megabytes to complete the update directly. Through spending money on promotion, the new game has risen to the top of the software rankings, ranking 6th. Yo-Yo Software also released soft text advertisements and small horizontal banners. This situation is much bigger than when Zhang Cheng first released the jigsaw puzzle game. The download and update data in the background increased to tens of thousands in just 1 hour. The reviews are as good as ever. The recharge data that had basically stagnated has begun to grow again. Of course, for this recharge, the share will be directly credited to the company account. By the time I was about to get off work, the total recharge had exceeded 10,000 yuan. Many rich people who like this game are really inhumane when it comes to spending money. The data is pretty good. Zhang Cheng estimated the effect in his mind. "Let's go. We have a company dinner today and karaoke tonight. Everyone is going." Good. After working hard for a month, I can finally take a break. Both programmers and artists are very happy. A group of 6 people went directly to eat seafood. A meal cost Zhang Cheng 3,000 yuan, however, it is all small money. It was a rare occasion to have dinner together, and Zhang Cheng was very generous. Singing karaoke again made the relationship between everyone more integrated, at least it became more like a company atmosphere. Although there are relatively few people, "Come on, boss, come on." They are all young people, and everyone plays high, especially Lin Xiaoxiao, who likes these very much, and it is not an exaggeration to say that he is a meba. The 2 programmers, Zuo Zhang and Chen Kanghao, also became bolder from introversion after drinking. They began to howl like ghosts and wolves. Li Silin couldn't bear to listen and quickly pushed Zhang Cheng to sing a song. The corners of Zhang Cheng's lips raised. "Then listen carefully, the little prince of love songs is online." "Okay, Kai, please order a song for the boss and go in first." Li Silin shouted with a smile. "Boss, what song is this?" "Belief." Zhang Cheng took the wheat and sat down to start singing. "Open black lens bracket whenever I hear melancholy music, the hurt that brings back memories. Whenever I see the white moonlight thinking of your face." The magnetic voice is very similar to the original singer, but it has Zhang Cheng's own timbre. Wow! For a moment, everyone clapped. Zuo Zhang thought to himself, "This boss is the boss, he can write code well, and he can even sing so well." Alas, I was shocked. When Zhang Cheng finished his song, he received looks of smitten looks from Lin Xiaoxiao and Ding Kai, and even Li Silin's beautiful eyes started to change. A love song, sung by Zhang Cheng, was so contagious. Zhang Cheng is naturally not worried about singing karaoke. After integrating the sound card a few days ago, Zhang Chengsheng has discovered that his own can simulate a variety of sounds. And this kind of simulation is not a complete copy, but a combination of its own timbre. Of course, if you want to copy Zhang Cheng, you can also simulate it. At this point, all the large boards and PCI slots in Zhang Cheng's body were filled. Independent graphics card, independent wireless network card and independent sound card. If it still needs to be expanded, Zhang Cheng has no choice at the moment. However, these are all small paths, and Zhang Cheng does not intend to take the singer route. As for drinking, although Zhang Cheng's drinking capacity is not considered very strong, it is enough to deal with these programmers and employees. What's more, everyone didn't let up and drank, they just enjoyed themselves. The first company dinner is over. Zhang Cheng made a mental note. On March 29, 2012, Maple Fire Network Technology Company had 6 employees. When he returned to the dormitory, Zhang Cheng's smell of alcohol and cigarettes had not dissipated. "Damn it, third brother, did you go to the bar high?" As soon as he walked in, Hao Yongjun's eyes widened with a look of astonishment on his face. Zhang Cheng, who always studies on time and is super self-disciplined, will one day fall into depravity? Incredible. Zhang Cheng was sober-minded. Don't talk nonsense. The company had a dinner party today and drank a little more. Zhu Jian, who was writing code, turned his head and said, "What company? The one you were responsible for?" "Yeah, we hired a few people a while ago." Zhang Cheng opened the cabinet and prepared to take clothes and take a shower. Zhu Jian complained, "Damn, you're so awesome. We are still thinking about where to work after graduation, but you, the third child, have secretly become the boss." Hao Yongjun chuckled. Zhang Cheng naturally knew they were joking. Stop talking and go take a shower. After rinsing, the smell of tobacco and alcohol was much lighter. Wearing big pants, Zhang Cheng sat down and prepared to continue working on the code. Hao Yongjun said hurriedly, "If you drink, stop coding. Don't create bugs that are difficult to fix." "It's okay, I can drink well." Zhang Cheng waved his hand. "No, listen to me. Come tomorrow." Hao Yongjun refused to let Zhang Cheng open the computer and said, "Your express delivery has arrived. There are a lot of things. Let's take a look at what they are. We are all very curious." Only then did Zhang Cheng see a big package next to the desk. It's square and has some weight. Zhang Cheng was also a little strange, but he quickly understood what it was. He cut it open with a knife and opened the tightly packed craft paper. Inside were stacks of Jinjie books. A snow-blown Moshan mountain fills the entire cover. The silhouette of a man holding a sword was reflected in the snow. On the left side are written the two characters, Jinjie. Hao Yongjun never reads online novels. Looking at this, he picked up one and flipped through it. "Hey, third child, why did you buy so many novels?" Shu Saiyuan also followed him curiously at this moment. "This is a book that was very popular on the internet before. Jinjie, has it been published?" "Yes, it has been published." Zhang Cheng glanced at it and saw that there were 40 copies of the first and second volumes. The cover is very delicate and the pages inside are pretty good, not as thin as some pirated books. Hao Yongjun handed the book to Shu Saiyuan and scratched his head. "Is it an online novel? I'm not interested in that." "Third brother, can you give me a set? I quite like Jinjie," Shu Saiyuan asked immediately after seeing so many books in his pack. "Of course, I originally planned to give each of you a set." Zhang Cheng took the book and handed it to the three of them. "My first book, kept as a souvenir." "Okay, thank you." "What, you said, it's your book?" Shu Saiyuan suddenly reacted, with a look of surprise on his face and couldn't believe it at all. Zhu Jian also became interested at this moment. "Third brother, when was the book you wrote written?" "Impossible, he usually attends classes, self-study, etc. Is he a god?" Zhang Cheng explained, "I took the time to write it after graduation. I don't write much now." "Then, Jin Shi, was also written by you?" Shu Saiyuan was speechless. "They are all popular books, but I never thought that the real author is right next to me." Zhang Cheng smiled modestly and said, "The writing is average, it makes me laugh every time I see it." Shu Saiyuan handed the book forward and said, "I am a loyal reader. I have ordered them all. Can you sign them for me?" "I want it." Zhang Cheng took the book, opened the title page and signed his name seriously. Zhang Cheng. The writing in Tian Xingkai is very correct. Shu Saiyuan returned to his seat with the book in his arms with a satisfied look on his face, and put the newly released book on the bookcase. Although Hao Yongjun and Zhu Jian didn't read the novel, they still asked Zhang Cheng to sign it, saying that when Zhang Cheng became awesome, they could show it off. Seeing that no one would let him write code, Zhang Cheng no longer insisted. He kept one set on his bookcase and took out 3 more sets. "Open the title page and start leaving messages and signatures. The old dream brings new knowledge, a great song leads to a great advancement, Zhang Cheng." This was prepared for Yu Xinren. "This book is not pornographic, but it is still good looking, Zhang Cheng." "This is for Qin Jin. My son's first published book, given to his beloved parents, Zhang Cheng." "This is for parents." As for the others, Zhang Cheng also had a headache. After thinking about it, he decided to give them to his book friends. Opening the cuckoo group of book friends that had been muted, Zhang Cheng edited a sentence. "Zhang Yi Sufeng. There is something. Jin Jie has been published, and I still have 13 books in my hand." The administrator Bai Shaosheng, Bai Xiao and other 3 people each gave 1 book as a gift. The other 10 books were drawn in the group. If you have any ideas if you want, you can participate in the lottery. The group that was originally chatting about posting pictures suddenly exploded. Bai Xiao Sheng Bai Xiao. Victory gesture, that's great. Can Zhang Da sign it? Zhang Yi Suifeng. Sign. Half drunk but not in the lake. At Bai Xiao Sheng Bai Xiao, you forgot that you set me up as the manager. Woo woo, you compensate me. The sky regrets the tears. The administrator is happy. Then Zhang Cheng saw a series of news about winning. Zhang Cheng simply programmed a lottery program in his body's computer. 5 minutes later, Zhang Cheng closed the registration and put the participants into the lottery pool. The lottery results are directly recorded through the computer in the body. After sending the 10 results and screenshots to the group, Zhang Cheng directly at relevant winners. Zhang Yi Suifeng. Please send me the recipient's name, address and phone number via private message to the above winners. I will send it out within this week. Half drunk. Haha, I won the lottery even if I wasn't a manager, I'm so lucky. Little Coral. I won a lottery for the first time in my life. I am so happy, I want to buy a lottery ticket. After a while, Zhang Cheng received a lot of private messages from the Cuckoo group, all containing the contact addresses of the winners. After collecting the contact addresses of 3 managers, including Bai Xiaosheng and Bai Xiao, Zhang Cheng told editor Yang Hua of the publishing house on QQ that the book has been received and I am very satisfied, and then closed QQ. Buckle and rest immediately. I drank some wine, and it was already past 10 o'clock, so I might as well go to sleep. The next day, Zhang Cheng sent all these books. I started to sort out the material package and program package of Subway Cool Run. With the joint efforts of the entire dormitory, it was finally time to finish. Zhu Jian was not very familiar with the subsequent work, which involved things like 3-dimensional game engines and special effects, so he was learning from Zhang Cheng. This made it impossible for Zhang Cheng to process it directly in the computer inside his body. But in terms of special effects, Zhang Cheng used biological computers. With his thoughts, Zhang Cheng materialized the effect he wanted to achieve in a very realistic way, which made the biological computer very smooth when processing these data. After a while, the special effects package was generated. Each character has its own special effects. For example, the initial character is some Q version of the wind-chasing boy. His jump can bring up a whirlwind. When shoveling, there will be sparks splashing in front of his feet. After getting special props, such as flying sprayers and scooters, acceleration potion, etc., the special effects produced are also different. This is the biggest feature of the game. All the special effects were generated unreasonably in Zhang Cheng's biological computer. After being exported to an external computer, the effect was even more amazing. Of course, the 3-dimensional character materials are outsourced. Is this really the game we made? Hao Yongjun took a long swallow and felt incredible as he looked at the movements of some of the characters being debugged. Zhu Jian was also very shocked. Third brother, I'm convinced by you. Our code doesn't feel that good. It's so good once you integrate it and optimize it. Zhang Cheng smiled, not being self-effacing. Actually, it doesn't matter whether a game's core and algorithm are high-end or not. What matters is the design and quality of the game. To put it bluntly, a game that can attract users to play is a good game. Didn't you see? Those web games, Come and Kill Me If You Are a Brother, these games are actually relatively simple, and can be produced by ordinary small game companies. But the key is to have something that attracts users. Some web games, if you don't look carefully, you can't imagine how there are so many people playing them. Although it is impossible for Zhang Cheng to make these web games, he still has a vision for how to make a good game based on his experience in his previous life. It makes sense. Zhu Jian adjusted his glasses and said. Immediately afterwards, Zhang Cheng put all the packages in order and started the packaging process for preliminary testing. After setting up a temporary server on his computer, Zhang Cheng clicked on the installation on his mobile phone and then entered the game login interface. It took a while to install the entire 130 megabyte game. The login interface showed a whirlwind boy and a graceful beauty, standing on the 2 tracks of the railway track. 1 red and 1 white boots, very sporty. Behind are the typical landmarks of China, such as the Great Wall, the terracotta warriors of Qin Emperor Mausoleum, Lashan Buddha and other Q prints. The overall color is yellowish, reflecting the light of the setting sun. In the middle is the blue icon for logging into the game, which is very conspicuous. Click to log into the game, and it will automatically link to Weixin and Cuckoo for quick login. After registering his nickname, Zhang Cheng tried the first level again. The sound of BGM is very brainwashing, the rhythm is nice, and it keeps looping. However, there were several bugs. Although the level game was entered, some resources were not called, causing problems with the scene beside the railway tracks. In addition, there are still frame drops when controlling the movement of characters, and there are also problems with the obstacle and train refresh algorithms. Zhang Cheng put down his phone and shrugged, "You guys should try it too. We'll collect the bugs as soon as possible and try to complete them all next week. The company is going to do an announcement." He had a hunch that he had to speed up his progress. We must not let the starter become a follower. As the Subway Run game was completed and continuously optimized and improved, the entire dormitory began to howl. The smooth game makes running smooth, and eating props makes you fly even more happily. After running away and dying, there is a chance to be resurrected, which makes people feel a little bit impulsive. After I died, I could still buy a job, especially after I finally spent a lot of time and energy running a relatively far distance and accidentally died. I hope to continue setting new records. Referring to the jigsaw puzzle game, Zhang Cheng designed a friend ranking list in the game. I believe that many people have the desire to be on the list. Excellent design, novel gameplay, very suitable for today's smartphones. In Zhang Cheng's office, Li Silin said excitedly after trying it out once. Zhang Cheng cupped his hands and said with a smile, "The test is fine. How is the announcement going?" "It has been announced for 2 days, Li Silinwi reported. This time the announcement is more powerful, and we also spent 200,000 yuan. This time it will not be announced for a long time, but within these few days, Zhang Cheng will make the internet overwhelming. To this end, we also found several game bloggers to promote soft articles. Zhang Cheng gave the order, then it will be officially launched at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Let's take advantage of the hot situation to let the game catch up with the popularity." Li Silin nodded. "Okay, boss. What about the revenue from jigsaw puzzles?" Li Silin sat down and said, "I was planning to report to you. In the past half-month, Maple Fire Puzzle 2 has maintained a popularity of around 200,000 people online. Everyone's reviews are very good. The current total recharge exceeds 630,000, after deducting in terms of related channel costs, we have nearly 500,000 in revenue." Zhang Cheng quickly calculated in his mind that with just over half a month of popularity and recharging efforts, he had recovered the initial cost and made a small profit. Subsequent income may decrease, but it will not drop off a cliff and the income will continue to flow. No wonder these game companies like to develop games. As long as there are enough users, revenue can grow rapidly and profit returns are extremely high. However, this is only part of the money-making game. There are still many games that are losing money. That's not bad. There are still such a high number of online users. It is estimated that there will be good profits in the next 1 to 2 months. Zhang Cheng raised the corner of his mouth. Li Silin was also very happy. "Congratulations, boss, for your first game being so successful." "Congratulations are a little early. Let's wait and see what happens with our Subway Runner." Zhang Cheng waved his hand, and then said, "At the end of the month, come and send a small red envelope to the participants in this project to encourage everyone." "Gracious boss, how much are you planning to pay?" "The average salary is 3,000 yuan. You should come up with a plan first." Zhang Cheng thought for a while and just awarded him half a month's salary. Li Silin stood up and said, "Okay, then I'll go make arrangements first." Zhang Cheng nodded, took the book and started reading. The originally empty bookshelf was enriched by Zhang Cheng's book list. There are books on business management, but more on computers and the internet. Zhang Cheng is currently reading books on deep learning. Since participating in the PCA algorithm for face recognition in Professor Yang Mingda's project, Zhang Cheng has been convinced that in order to better improve the accuracy of face recognition, he still needs to work hard on deep learning algorithms. Deep learning is a major direction that computer science students can choose. It has become popular in recent years. Generally speaking, it belongs to the field of AI and artificial intelligence. It specializes in studying how computers can simulate or implement human learning behavior to acquire new knowledge or skills, and reorganize existing knowledge structures to continuously improve their performance. The book Zhang Chengshu has is called Neural Networks and Deep Learning, and it is a translated Chinese version. This is an introductory book, and Zhang Cheng read it with gusto. Neural network is an important concept and an important method for building machine learning. The book says, neural networks are artificial neurons called perceptrons. A perceptron accepts inputs of multiple values and produces an output. When inputting, weights and thresholds are introduced to determine the result of a certain behavior. Yes. Or no, and finally a comprehensive result is obtained. As he continued reading, Zhang Cheng also felt that the research on computers by these seniors was really awesome. They're just standing on the shoulders of giants. In terms of hardware, from the initial electron tubes to transistors, to today's integrated circuits, from a few hundred nanometers process to the current 32 nanometers process. Zhang Cheng knows that in the next few years, there will be 22 nanometers, 14 nanometers, 14 plus, 14 plus plus plus. In terms of software, from the initial machine programming, to assembly, to today's flourishing of languages, everyone is groping forward on the basis of their predecessors. The future is the era of big data algorithms and intelligent algorithms. Zhang Cheng must plan ahead and enter these fields early. After watching it for 2 hours, Zhang Cheng was ready to go back. Zhang Cheng remembered that today was April 23rd, and it was almost the May Day holiday. Listening to the project bonuses outside, everyone was suddenly too happy to work. Zhang Cheng also smiled and shook his head, waiting for these young men to come after May Day, and then hand over the burden. He has many good ideas in his mind, which require talents to realize. After all, he is only one person. No matter how powerful the computer in his body is, he cannot write all the code by himself. Although Zhang Cheng is interested in this field and has been studying it, and his ability in programming is relatively good, he does not want to become a programmer. His ultimate goal is to study the changes in his body, biological computers and the existence of simulated physical computers within the body. This is both his golden finger and the object of his research. After leaving the office, Zhang Cheng walked to his workstation. Everyone's enthusiasm dropped. Zhuo Zhang scratched his head and asked directly, "Boss, do we want to distribute project funds?" FA, including in the future, as long as the projects developed by our team are profitable, I will use part of it to reward meritorious personnel. Zhang Cheng nodded and admitted, as long as you don't leave your job, there will be benefits. Zhang Cheng paused, so, please continue to work hard and strive to achieve greater results. Wow, the boss is awesome, Maplefire is awesome. Zhang Cheng gently pressed his hands to keep everyone quiet. In the past few days, the Subway Run game developed by 9hash Studio, a subsidiary of our company, has been officially launched. Everyone is also paying attention to this game when running puzzles. This week everyone will post at least one article about the game experience, published on relevant forums and game websites. So, when they heard that they were going to write an article, these men from science and engineering fainted. There is no requirement for word count, just over 100 words. There is no requirement for quality. The content must be realistic and we just need to promote our game well. Zhang Cheng continued. Okay, boss, don't worry. Chen Kanghao stood up and patted his chest. Boss, this is all a company game, and we will run it well. Li Silin also nodded, I will pay close attention to this matter. Okay, everyone, let's have some rest and entertainment during May Day. When May Day comes back, I will have new project ideas for you. At that time, it will depend on your own ability and level. Zhang Cheng drew a pie. Okay, we can definitely develop a good and profitable game. Zhuo Zhang agreed. They knew Zhang Cheng's creativity, which was much better than the boss of the company they worked for before. Those bosses want to make money from games, but they don't know anything and insist on pointing fingers. In the end, a game that no one wants to play comes out of their own hands. This feels bad. It's like a person who could have given birth to a good child, but was mutilated all the time, resulting in a child who looks very different. When Zhang Cheng said he had a good project idea, everyone was naturally very happy, and the atmosphere was very lively for a while. Afterwards, Zhang Cheng left first. By the morning of the next day, Zhang Cheng saw the game, Subway Run, on many announced game lists. Zhang Cheng greeted in the Cuckoo group, "Brothers, the game is now available. Let's download and play it ourselves and recommend it to our friends." Zhu Jian and the other three also knew that it was on the shelves today, so they were even absent-minded in class. At this moment, I was extremely hungry and thirsty, so I took advantage of the break from get out of class to play games. Then, he ran straight away. Dong dong. Wang Guan vibrated, and a warm BGM sound came from Zhu Jian's mobile phone. The surrounding students all looked at it, and a few familiar people gathered around. "Zhu Jian, what are you doing?" Zhu Jian raised his phone and said, "Come on, let's download and play the game we developed ourselves." "Did you develop it?" Some people didn't believe it. Of course, there are also students who are not sensitive to games. After taking one look, they turned back to their books. "I just don't like the noise." But it was after class time after all, so he didn't say anything. Subway Cool Run. The game is called Subway Cool Run. You can download it on your mobile phone. Zhu Jian explained. Being surrounded made it no longer fun, so he turned off the sound. Zhang Cheng was a little helpless, however, it is understandable. Zhu Jian also played a big role in the development of the game. Although Hao Yongjun and Xu Saiyuan participated, they were generally relatively simple parts. Zhang Cheng and Zhu Jian were responsible for the more difficult parts. Zhu Jian was naturally very proud of his child. The monitor, Li Zhengtao, was extremely dissatisfied at this moment. "Everyone, sit down. Class is about to start. What kind of noise is this?" Everyone slowly dispersed and sat back in their seats. "Zhu Jian, it's just a game development. It's not a very cool thing. Is there any need to be so high profile?" Li Zhengtao said bluntly to Zhu Jian again. "You." Zhu Jian was a little angry and was about to stand up to argue, but then the teacher came in. Zhang Cheng also shook his head. "Don't be as knowledgeable as him." "Damn, does this squad leader have a problem with us?" Zhu Jian muttered unhappily. Zhang Cheng smiled and said nothing. "The 4 people in my dormitory usually don't play with them much. Of course, everyone is busy with their own things." But Zhang Cheng and the others rarely participated in some class activities, and refused because they were working on projects and developing games. So I won't like some people." Zhu Jian was still angry and was still cursing until noon. "This Li Zhengtao is really weird. He usually has a bad face, but he seems to be the most awesome." Zhang Cheng also nodded helpfully. "He just has that look. Don't be angry." After all, Hao Yongjun is the class leader, so it's hard to say anything at this moment. "Fourth, don't be angry. We don't get along well in the dormitory, but that doesn't matter. I won't be the class leader next semester, so I might as well spend more time studying, researching and working on projects." Xu Saiyuan snorted softly. "You're right, we can just study at our own pace. I think they all want to go abroad, and their hearts are not here." Upon hearing this, Zhang Cheng spat directly. "Bah, our Shuimu's reputation was ruined by these people." Zhang Cheng remembered a widely circulated joke in his previous life. Shuimu is a place where enemies are cultivated and is a dangerous existence. What's more, if you look at the data, only 14% of those who went abroad did not come back. However, when he was actually here, Zhang Cheng did feel that the United States and other countries did have more cutting-edge research on computers. This is a fact. If you just study abroad to learn knowledge and improve China's scientific and technological level after returning, this is worthy of recognition. But in fact, many people did stay in the United States, joined large companies such as Google and Facebook, and finally stayed and obtained green cards. Working on computers and software, even small games for Zhang Cheng, already feels very profitable, let alone these large internet companies? They occupy a huge market, control the users, and control countless money. So it is naturally more profitable to go to those companies after graduation. Annual salary is 1 million or more. Water flows to lower place, man goes to higher position. This old saying is true, but Zhang Cheng felt somewhat uncomfortable when he saw some students who looked arrogant, looked down upon China, and were thinking about studying abroad. Even disgusting. Among his class, Zhang Cheng estimates that nearly half will go abroad. After receiving a burst of support from everyone, Zhu Jian's anger subsided. Okay, let's not mention that unlucky guy and let's see if the game is popular. Now that the backend is in the company, I can't directly inquire. Zhang Cheng shrugged, but he could ask. While talking, Zhang Cheng called Li Silin. Boss, do you have any orders? A female voice came over. How are the downloads of Metro Runner? Zhang Cheng asked directly. Li Silin was counting the data over there. I just checked and found that the number of downloads on each platform exceeded 100,000 in the morning, and it is still growing rapidly. Okay, pay attention to the comments. If there are any feedback problems, fix them in time, Zhang Cheng reminded. Don't worry, boss. Li Silin also paid attention to it. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Cheng looked at Zhu Jian and the others. Zhu Jian had an inexplicable smile on his face. Hey, have you hired a beautiful secretary? Zhang Cheng rolled his eyes at him. What beautiful secretary? This is the operations director Li Silin. The child is 7 or 8 years old. Isn't that young woman better? Xu Saiyuan snorted. Hao Yongjun and Zhu Jian raised their middle fingers. Damn, I didn't expect you to be so boring. Zhang Cheng waved his hand to prevent them from straying from the topic. Now it seems that the download volume is pretty good. Let's take a look at the online reviews. As he spoke, he entered the words, Subway Cool Run, into Duniang. With one click, a large piece of promotional material appeared. Maplefire Technology, the design company of jigsaw puzzle games, has released a new cool game, Subway Run. Subway Cool Run is the latest Chinese railway-style cool running game produced by Kyoto Maplefire Network Technology Company. Dodge oncoming trains and help advanced, skilled and inexperienced players escape from vicious dogs. Is Subway Cool Running fun? Game Operation Trial Evaluation Close Double Angle Bracket. Subway Run is a new adventure sports racing game released on the Android platform. With the Chinese architectural style and rhythmic music background, we have brought a trial operation review. The game screen adopts a semi-3D stereoscopic perspective, allowing you to run, jump, fly, and shovel. The screen performance is very good. The Q version characters are full of dynamics and the color performance is very good. Especially the special effects of the 3 characters and super props are very exciting and fully express the essence of cool running. It can be concluded that this is a brand new game, and there will be many follow-up games in the future. Rave reviews. Really rave reviews. Zhang Cheng's heart was slightly agitated. The data is good. The response is good. We are expected to succeed. Great, we have made another awesome game. Zhu Jian was so happy that he raised his hand and gave each of the 3 of them a high five. Zhang Cheng added, the copyright of the game belongs to the company, but the few of us as a studio developing the game team will give a certain percentage of dividends based on the turnover according to the company's regulations. When the game becomes popular, all of us will become millionaires. Zhu Jian's eyes suddenly lit up. Really? Of course, our game will be popular for a long time, so don't underestimate it. Zhang Cheng is now full of confidence. Zhang Cheng's impression is that this game has been going on for 6 or 7 years and is still very popular. This means that there is always good game flow. Hao Yongjun giggled and said, we really can have so much money. There will definitely be one. Zhang Cheng nodded. However, in the later stage, the company is running the operation after all. Version updates and operation and maintenance are all handled by the company. Our dividends will be reduced in the future. Zhu Jian nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. That's no problem. What about our next project? We won't do it for the time being. Let's all recharge our batteries. I plan to delve into computer hardware and deep learning. Zhang Cheng had a plan and directly put forward the idea. Zhu Jian's enthusiasm was extinguished again. No, we are so successful now, why don't we continue to develop? Zhu Jian was a little confused. Zhang Cheng patted Zhu Jian's shoulder lightly. Fourth, do you plan to spend your life coding and writing games? What's the difference between that and ordinary programmers? Zhang Cheng continued seriously. Are the algorithms difficult for these games? It's not difficult. Many programmers with development experience can do it. It's nothing more than creativity and design. I don't want my roommate to fall into the hole of money. but forget that he is a future talent in the computer science department of Shuimu University. Zhu Jian's face turned red with embarrassment. Third brother, I. Shu Saiyuan said calmly. Lao San is right. After all, developing these small games is just a small way to earn some money to spend. Now we have a lot of dividends every month, which is enough. We still have to spend more time learning and researching. Cutting edge, there is so much knowledge, we have to be climbers and guides. Zhang Cheng glanced at Shu Saiyuan and nodded approvingly. This second child is usually not very open-minded, but as his name suggests, he is still quite thoughtful. I started a company to make money, but it is definitely not for the purpose. My goal remains the same, to delve into cutting-edge technologies and create new achievements. As for games, I will only mention design from now on. Creativity will no longer be developed personally. Zhang Cheng explained. And with the dividends from this game, Zhang Cheng can lead everyone to basically achieve financial freedom. I understand. Zhu Jian regained his enthusiasm and slowly returned to calmness. Yes. He is a top student at Shuimu University and a gold medal winner in the Noi competition. He should not be reduced to an ordinary programmer, coding lines of game code day after day. Zhang Cheng patted Zhu Jian on the shoulder. He knew that among the entire dormitory, Zhu Jian's family situation was the worst, perhaps even worse than Zhang Cheng's. Therefore, he would fall in the eyes of money and think crazily about developing game projects and making money. Zhu Jian sat back in his seat, adjusted his thoughts, picked up the book and started studying on his own. HTC's phone rang. Zhang Cheng saw that it was Professor Yang Mingda and quickly picked up the phone. Teacher, Xiao Zhang, the paper has been published. Seeing that you haven't replied to your email, I guess you are busy. I will give you a call. Yang Mingda said with a smile. He was clearly in a good mood. Then Zhang Cheng hung up the phone without waiting for anything else. Zhang Cheng was speechless and opened his mailbox. There is only one unread email there. A series of words in English did not faze him. Computer standards and interfaces. Zhang Cheng knew about this journal. The impact factor is not very high, but it is also a relatively well-known software engineering journal. In one work, there is even his name at the end. This made Zhang Cheng feel very rewarded. This Professor Yang can handle it. Hao Yangjun came over with a curious look on his face. Damn, third brother, have you finished your thesis? No, I added a name to Professor Yang's project. Zhang Cheng said modestly. Anyone who added a name or a work, Hao Yangjun complained, perverted. Zhu Jian took a long breath and said, no matter what, we have to work harder ourselves and we can't lag behind. It was obvious that they had put in the same effort, and even I was still admitted, but when I really started to learn, I realized that I seemed to fall behind a lot in every aspect. Whether it's Java or C++ that I'm good at, I feel like I can't compare. Nothing beats making money. They're already masters of online writing and have opened companies. Sometimes, you still have to recognize the excellence of others, so that you can live a happier life. Zhang Cheng responded to Professor Yang in the email and expressed his gratitude. At the same time, Zhang Cheng also prepared some issues regarding deep learning and took this opportunity to send them to Yang Mingda. Since you are sending an email, it is naturally not possible to do it casually like on QQ chat. You have to collect something. Yang Mingda. Afterwards, Zhang Cheng took the English book on deep learning and continued reading. Some cutting-edge books did not have good translations yet, so Zhang Cheng directly looked for English books to read. Of course, with his current vocabulary and familiarity with English, there is no big obstacle to reading. However, the knowledge involved is vast. Linear algebra, probability theory, information theory, numerical optimization and machine learning. Zhang Cheng felt that he had a lot to learn again. Time flies quickly, and the annual May Day Labor Day is coming again. Zhang Cheng clearly remembers last year's May Day, when he had just finished the Model 4 exam and was still reviewing crazily. Looking back now, 1 year has passed and I still can't relax in my studies. Computer knowledge is so extensive that even if Zhang Cheng has a photographic memory, he still has to spend more time and energy working hard on machine learning and deep learning. When he was about to go to bed at night, Zhang Cheng went through the current situation in his mind. The novel, Jin Shi, has written more than 2.8 million words and is about to be completed. After finishing this book, Zhang Cheng has no plans to write a book for the time being. Although it is said that it can serve two purposes, it does take some effort. What's more, now he needs to focus on two areas. One is learning and research, targeting deep learning and hardware learning. One is company operations and development. Therefore, Zhang Cheng did not have much time to write a new book. If the company is operating normally, Zhang Cheng will consider writing again. After all, writing novels is also one of his hobbies. After May Day is over, Zhuo Zhang and others have to do the whole thing, so that they can only maintain operations and have nothing to do. Zhang Cheng is initially thinking of giving them game ideas such as Snake Battle and Sim City. As for Digging to Survive and Happy Match, the development can be pushed to the end of the year or the first half of next year. These are all good games, both in terms of life cycle and revenue. With games in operation and revenue, and new games in development, Zhang Cheng feels that his company can grow and develop rapidly. Yu Xinran's computer in her body sent her a message. Yu Xinran. I downloaded your new game, Subway Run. It's fun, but it's easy to die. Zhang Cheng. There's nothing you can do about it, you have to practice your skills. Yu Xinran. How did you get such a high score? Zhang Cheng. I tried it casually and my score was okay. First place was normal. Did anyone surpass me? Yu Xinran. With over 160,000 points, who can surpass you? Zhang Cheng. Wouldn't it be enough to have hands? Yu Xinran. Look at how cool you are. Despise. By the way, do you have any plans to go there on May Day? Zhang Cheng. I won't go. The company's games are on the shelves, so I can't leave. Yu Xinran. Okay. Zhang Cheng was not lying. He was really busy in his plans for this year. Although he is a science man, he is not a straight man, and he can sense Yu Xinran's intention to some extent. However, now he is still far away from his goal and has no time to think about this for the time being. The classes approaching the May Day holiday were a bit difficult. But for Zhang Cheng, it's all the same. A week later, Subway Cool Run completely exploded the market, with total downloads reaching more than 3 million. The recharge data is also over 1 million, and Zhang Cheng believes that as time goes by, the monthly turnover can reach at least several million. Zhang Cheng already had experience with the fruit version, so he took some time to transplant the game with Zhu Jian and others. It is expected that the iOS system will be put on the shelves after May Day. By then, Zhang Cheng believes that the water will rise again. Studio's Game Studio. Speed looked at the Subway Run game promoted on the internet, and everyone was confused. Their studio's God's Escape game is nearing completion and will be launched soon, but now, a Subway Runner suddenly appeared on the market. Oh, no. God, why would China in the East suddenly develop such a well-made game? It's incredible. Lukashi, who is both a partner and his wife, crossed her hands and shrugged, but it doesn't matter. Although the concept of the game is similar, our gameplay is different from this game. Ours is better, isn't it, my dear? Damn it, we have to speed up the pace of testing and try to release it earlier. Otherwise, people will be attracted by Subway Runner. Speed was a little unhappy. Oh, no, do we need our programmers to work overtime? This is not allowed. Of course, Zhang Cheng didn't know these things, but he estimated that the God's Escape game would be released soon. At that time, two classic games will compete online to see who can grab more users. But Zhang Cheng already has the advantage of starting the game. May 4th, the first day after the holiday, Maplefire Technologies. Zhang Cheng was wearing a plaid shirt, holding a glass and looking out the window. Boss, this is the financial statement for April. Li, the newly recruited financial officer, knocked on the door and came in with the statement. Zhang Cheng sat on the sofa and took the watch. The main business income was 2,859,270 yuan, reaching 2.85 million yuan. Among them, Jigsaw Puzzles, 750,000 yuan, and Subway Cool Running, 2.1 million yuan. Business costs. Rent 23,000 yuan, staff salaries and bonuses 88,000 yuan, publicity costs, 360,000 yuan, other operating costs, 179,000 yuan. The profit reached 2.2 million yuan. Even if the development team is given a dividend of 132,000 yuan, there is still a profit of more than 2 million yuan. Of course, Zhang Cheng still had to pay taxes, and he ended up with a net profit of more than 1.8 million yuan. Moreover, the Subway Runner game has become very popular, and the monthly income will only be higher. Okay. You ask Director Li to come over. Zhang Cheng nodded, put down the report, and ordered. Li responded and quickly called Li Silin over. Boss, are you looking for me? Li Silin came in wearing a professional skirt and high heels. Sit down. Zhang Cheng pointed to the sofa where the guests were waiting, and then said, Now, our company is on the right track, and we do have fewer manpower. Li Silin nodded. I also think we need to recruit more people. Before the company was founded, many departments were not established, but now it is still necessary to set them up. Li Silin was indeed very tired in the past 2 months. As for her ability, Zhang Cheng could see that she was only qualified to be a department manager. And it is more suitable for the human resources department. Even the operations director is not very experienced. Zhang Cheng looked at her and paused. I'll tell you the recruitment plan. Okay. Li Silin took a small notebook and started taking notes. 1 Deputy General Manager. This can be found by a specialized headhunting company. It does not necessarily have to be from a large company. Those with experience as vice presidents of small and medium-sized game development and operation companies will be given priority. The salary is 25,000 yuan per month, with dividends depending on the operation. Li Silin paused, feeling startled, but still recorded it quickly. Recruiting a vice president means that you will not be promoted. This is a company with great prospects. Although it is very small now, Li Silin is already very optimistic about it. Zhang Cheng said calmly, I have seen all your hard work in the past 2 months. However, with your current ability, you are still not qualified to serve as vice president. I plan to appoint you as the director of the General Management Department to manage human resources, administration, and legal affairs. At work, the salary has been raised to 13,000 yuan per month. Do you have any objections? Li Silin's eyes were slightly red. She raised her head, then lowered it immediately. I will obey the arrangement. Okay. Set up a finance department and add an accountant. It will no longer be represented by an accounting company. The person in charge will be Li for the time being. Establish a game programming department, with Zuo Zhang as the head, and recruit 5 more programmers. Set up an art department, with Ding Kai as the temporary head, and add 2 more art staff. Set up a planning department, with me as the manager of the planning department, and recruit there are 2 game and level planning personnel. An operation and maintenance department has been established, with Chen Kanghao as the temporary head, and 2 additional employees have been recruited. After Zhang Cheng finished speaking, he paused and said, You first draw up a plan for their salary standards and submit it to me for approval. Okay, boss. It's just that our office space may be a little smaller, with so many people added at once. Li Silin gathered her emotions and quickly adjusted her position. Zhang Cheng smiled slightly. There is more than 300 square meters next door to our company. That company has closed down and I have rented it. You can find workers to get through it and decorate it according to the company's style as soon as possible. Okay. Li Silin stood up. Then boss, I'm going to work. Zhang Cheng nodded, and when she left, he reminded her, don't be emotional. The company will definitely develop very quickly. You should improve yourself and strive to be on your own as soon as possible. Li Silin responded softly and then left. In Zhang Cheng's eyes, Li Silin was not the kind of woman with a strong ambition. She was more than passive at work but not very proactive. A department manager is okay, but if you are the vice president of a company during a period of strong development, it is difficult for you to do the job. Zhang Cheng sighed softly, hoping that she would understand earlier. Li Silin was the first employee Zhang Cheng recruited, and her relationship was naturally deeper than that of others. But emotion cannot replace rationality in decision-making. Especially since the company was on the rise, Zhang Cheng had to think carefully. Word of the company's changes spread quickly. Some people are happy and some are worried. But overall, Li Silin saw their laughter. Within 2 months, the newly hired Zuo Zhang and Chen Kanghao suddenly became the heads of the department, although they were still acting temporarily. But it is obvious that the improvement is much faster than myself. Fortunately, it is the general management department, which can be regarded as the core department of the company, and looks slightly better than them. Lee Silin thought in her mind and slowly calmed down her mind. She has never been a competitive person, but maybe that's the case. There's no way she can be promoted to vice president. This recruitment expansion is completely different from the previous recruitment. Before, no one knew what kind of company Maple Fire Network Technology was, and they were all frightened when they came. But now that they mentioned that it was the development company of Metro Run, it immediately attracted many people. Here, what Zhang Cheng attaches most importance to is the candidate for vice president. He must check this personally. Mr. Zhang, someone who claimed to be the marketing manager of Ascendas, called the company and said he wanted to cooperate with us. Just when Zhang Cheng was about to leave, Lee Silin came over quickly and said, "Tungfei Company? Marketing manager?" Zhang Cheng frowned. "What kind of cooperation are you talking about?" "I didn't say anything specific. I said that I would like to visit our company the day after tomorrow and discuss cooperation." Zhang Cheng nodded. "You need to receive them first. I may not have time." "Okay, boss, I'll report to you when the time comes." Zhang Cheng was also a little baffled. After all, they and Tungfei Company only accessed Weixin and deducted accounts, so what kind of cooperation could they have? But remembering that Ascendas Company has always been nicknamed, I suddenly became a little worried. "Do you want to make an acquisition? Or a copycat?" People from Tungfei Company quickly came to Kyoto and arrived at Zhang Cheng's Fengwo Technology Company. Taking the lead is Zhao Ziyang, the manager of the marketing department. He is a bit short and fat, but has a smooth face and a smooth face. He always smiles when he sees everyone. In addition, there was a female staff member beside them, and the two of them walked to the front desk of Maple Fire Technology Company. Zhao Ziyang looked at the workstation next to him with some disdain. "Just a small company. It's just that I was lucky enough to develop a popular cool-running game." If it hadn't been for the director's words, he would have never wanted to come to Kyoto to discuss cooperation with a small company that had only been registered for 2 or 3 months. "Hello. What's the matter?" Lin Xiaoxiao at the front desk stood up and asked with a smile. "I am Zhao Ziyang, the marketing manager of Ascendas, and I have an appointment with Mr. Zhang." Zhao Ziyang showed no disdain on his face, but instead smiled and said politely. Lin Xiaoxiao knew about this and immediately called Lee Silin. "Manager Lee, the person from Ascendas Company has arrived." Lee Silin came out quickly and welcomed people into the reception room. "Welcome, Manager Zhao." Lee Silin had the kindness to treat guests, but she was not arrogant either. Zhao Ziyang said with a smile, "It is really admirable that your company can develop a high-quality game like Subway Run under such circumstances." Walking along the workstation to the reception room, Zhao Ziyang and his subordinates looked around, as if they wanted to get a feel for the bottom of Maple Fire Company. Several people sat down in the reception room. "Mr. Zhao is overly praised. Who doesn't know that Ascendas is a great company? How could our game catch your company's attention?" Lee Silin sat and smiled. "Where is it? Is Mr. Zhang of your company here?" Zhao Ziyang asked directly. "Sorry, Mr. Zhang is busy today and is not in the company." Zhao Ziyang slapped his thigh and said, "Hey, that's such a pity. However, if there is any cooperation with Manager Zhao, you can talk about it first and I will report to Mr. Zhang." Lee Silin took a sip of coffee and said elegantly. Zhao Ziyang also picked up the cup, rolled his eyes lightly, and said with a smile, "It's like this. We Tungfei are very satisfied with the Subway Cool Run developed by your company, and we would like to talk to Mr. Zhang about the transfer of the game." "This is impossible. We, Mr. Zhang, have no intention of selling the game." Lee Silin put down the cup and refused directly. "Hey, Manager Lee, don't be too busy refusing. You can listen to our conditions first. Then, we should wait for Mr. Yang's intention. What do you think?" Zhao Ziyang laughed. Lee Silin said nothing. Zhao Ziyang continued, "The conditions for our takeoff have always been very favorable, and we are willing to pay 13 million yuan to acquire this game and subsequent copyrights." 13 million? Lee Silin chuckled and said, "I'm afraid this condition is missing a zero." Zhao Ziyang is not annoyed. Manager Lee can call Mr. Zhang for instructions. Of course, we believe that Mr. Zhang will accept it. After all, this game should use Weixin and Qianku to log in a lot. There's something threatening about it. Li Silin narrowed her eyes slightly. What Manager Zhao said is true, but I really can't make the decision. Please go back first, and I will report to Mr. Zhang. We are staying in Kyoto for 2 days, hoping to get a reply from Mr. Zhang. Zhao Ziyang's smile seemed harmless, but it was already a bit wanton. I will report Manager Zhao's conditions to Mr. Zhang unchanged. I will send Manager Zhao off, Li Silin said still elegantly, and then stood up. After sending the person away, Li Silin asked Xia Zhongcheng on the button if it was convenient for him to answer the phone. She now knows that Zhang Cheng is still studying in Shuimu University, so she always keeps in touch and reports when not on weekends. After a while, Zhang Cheng called. Mr. Zhang, Manager Zhao Ziyang from the Market Development Department of Tungfei Company is here. The cooperation is just as you expected. He wants to acquire the Metro Run game. Oh, how much are they asking for? 13 million. Haha. Zhang Cheng was talking on the phone in the corridor at this time. He couldn't help but find it funny. It would be too whimsical to take away such a chicken that lays golden eggs for a mere 13 million. Reject them on this game. Okay, I'll call them tomorrow and let them know. Zhang Cheng thought for a while and then said, however, we can tell them that we can't cooperate with this game, but we can cooperate with them on other things. Mr. Zhang, what do you mean? I'll make time to come out tomorrow, and you can invite them to have lunch. Zhang Cheng thought for a while and said. The takeoff was huge, and Zhang Cheng didn't want to fight them forcefully if it wasn't necessary. The huge size, coupled with the user stickiness of Weixin and Cuckoo, makes everyone in the world afraid. If the acquisition fails, it will be copied directly. This kind of thing has happened countless times, and there is nothing you can do about it. Songshan Pizza Hut, it's not called that for nothing. At noon the next day, Zhang Cheng left early and arrived at the Chinese restaurant he had booked. The quality is okay, but not great either. When Zhang Yi arrived, Zhao Ziyang and Zhao Ziyang had already arrived. Manager Zhao, this is our Manager Zhang. Li Silin stood up and introduced, Mr. Zhang, this is Manager Zhao, and this is Manager Chen. Hello, Manager Zhao, Manager Chen. Zhang Cheng stretched out his hand first. Although Zhao Ziyang was surprised for a moment, he soon put on a smile and said, Mr. Zhang is young and promising, but I am blind. The two parties sat down separately. Zhang Cheng spoke first, Manager Zhao, I'm sorry, there was something urgent yesterday and we couldn't meet. Hey, Mr. Zhang is busy, I understand. Zhao Ziyang nodded, but his face remained like Maitreya, grinning. Zhang Cheng held the tea. She has already reported to me the purpose of Manager Zhao's visit. Manager Zhao must also know our attitude. Mr. Zhang, if you feel dissatisfied with the price, you can speak up and we can discuss it easily. Zhao Ziyang stretched out his hand and gestured. You also know that Tungfei is not short of money. Zhang Cheng smiled and said, Subway Runner is the hard work of our studio, so selling it is naturally impossible. But I think there is room for us to cooperate with other games. Oh, Mr. Zhang has other good games? Zhang Cheng pointed to his brain and smiled slightly. Li Silin explained, Manager Zhao, our Mr. Zhang is very talented. Whether it is Maple Fire Puzzle or Subway Run, they were all developed under his creativity and leadership. In terms of game planning, I believe he is top-notch. Zhao Ziyang's eyes lit up. That's really unexpected. Zhang Cheng stopped saying, let's eat first and talk about this later. Zhao Ziyang didn't take the initiative to talk, and Zhang Cheng didn't take the initiative. Anyway, his position was very clear. I won't sell the game. If we want to talk about other game cooperation, then let's talk about it. There was no antagonism, nor kneeling and licking. There was another round of chatting after the meal, but Zhao Ziyang couldn't help it anymore and asked, I wonder what game Mr. Zhang plans to collaborate on. A mental game. Zhang Cheng said simply. What's it like specifically? Zhao Ziyang stopped smiling and asked tentatively. Zhang Cheng spread his hands, then I can't give you all the creative ideas, we haven't cooperated yet. Zhao Ziyang laughed, Mr. Zhang is right, but, Mr. Zhang, aren't you afraid that our Tungfei will also produce a similar game? Do you run cool every day? Zhang Cheng chuckled, not to mention that it would take several months for a game to come out. Even if it comes out, it doesn't mean that it will definitely eat him to death. I still believe that our cooperation is greater than competition. Okay, Mr. Zhang, we have a lot to do, so we'll be here soon. Thank you, Mr. Zhang, for your hospitality. Zhao Ziyang stood up and stretched out his hand. The two shook hands again and smiled. After Zhao Ziyang left, Li Silin took a long breath and said, "Oh, Tungfei is very powerful. I'm really worried that they will use some disgraceful means to deal with us. Soldiers will block it, water will cover it and earth will cover it. Don't be afraid." Zhang Cheng waved his hand. Tungfei's response did not come back so quickly. Zhang Cheng ignored it and continued to expand enrollment. It's still the same coffee shop. Zhang Cheng is still a glass of boiled water. Mr. Zhang, I am Chen Feng. I once served as Deputy General Manager, Operations Director, and Program Chief Planner of Guanggan Spark Technology Company. I entered the field of game development and operation in 2005. The person Zhang Cheng met this time was recommended by a headhunting company. Chen Feng, male, 36 years old, graduated from Guanggan University. He has been engaged in game and software development and then transitioned into management. However, due to changes in the company's board of directors and some decision-making errors, it is currently half dead. I remember that Guanggan Xingou Company is not bad in scale and has produced several role-playing games. Zhang Cheng did his homework before the interview and had a good understanding of the relevant personnel and the company. Yes. The best one has a monthly turnover of more than 1 million yuan. Chen Feng nodded. Zhang Cheng thought that his second game would be more than enough. What do you think of mobile games in the next few years? I think that as the mobile phone hardware of the Android system continues to be updated, mobile games will become more popular and usher in a blowout. At present, due to hardware limitations, many games are mainly casual and rarely exceed 100 M, but in the future, they will different. Some online mobile games will become more popular. Chen Feng thought for a while and organized his thoughts. Zhang Cheng asked, in other words, you are optimistic about online mobile games? Yes. So what do you think of casual games? Casual games depend on creativity and quality. If they are highly playable and user-friendly, they will have a good market. Okay. Welcome to join Maplefire Technology. Zhang Cheng stood up and extended his hand. Thank you, Mr. Zhang, for your trust. Chen Feng stood up and shook hands calmly. After Chen Feng joined the company, he quickly assisted in the daily operations of the company. Recruitment progress increased rapidly. After nearly a month of recruiting and decorating the company's new site, Zhang Cheng finally completed all the plans he had envisioned. Everyone has been recruited. The venue has also been enlarged. The office building of more than 500 square meters was occupied by more than 20 people at once, which can be regarded as small and large scale. The personnel structure is as follows: Deputy General Manager, Chen Feng. Comprehensive Management Department, Director Li Silin, 1 Personnel Team and Office Officer, Fang Ya, 1 Legal Team, Jiyu Yiren, 3 people in total. Finance Department, Head and Accountant Li, 1 Cashier, Li Hongying, 2 people in total. Game Programming Department, Head Zuo Zhang, 5 programmers, Ma Bing, Shu Long, etc. 6 people in total. Art Department, Head Ding Kai, 2 artists, Yang Qianxin, Peng Yuchen, 3 people in total. Planning Department, Manager Zhang Cheng, concurrently, 2 planners, Dao Xingzhou, Kai Fei, 3 people in total. Operation and Maintenance Department, Head Chen Kanghao, 2 operation and maintenance personnel, Wu Ling, Pan Jingshan, 3 people in total. Lin Xiaoxiao at the front desk, Zhang Wei at the customer service desk. There are 23 people in total. Although Magpie is small, he has gradually developed all the internal organs. Zhang Cheng once again organized a workers' meeting. In the newly renovated conference room, he announced his plan, commonly known as painting cake. Subway Runner is just a starting point, and our career will be even more brilliant in the future. We must continue to make excellent games, adhere to the concept of giving users a satisfactory experience, and release more classic and profitable games. I believe that in the near future, our monthly turnover can reach more than 50 million, or even hundreds of millions, and our income and rewards will double. Of course, this is not a dream, but a goal that will definitely be achieved. Looking at the disbelieving but still enthusiastic eyes below, Zhang Cheng knew that they had not seen the world yet. I have never seen an era when monthly sales of pesticides were 3 billion. After painting the cake, he still received a burst of applause. After the workers' meeting, Zhang Cheng retained Dao Xingzhou and Kai Fei from the planning department. One is tall and the other is short. Dao Xingzhou is from Lunan and is over 1.8 meters tall, which is taller than Zhang Cheng. Kai Fei is from Kailan province and is only about 1.6 meters tall. But both of them were full of admiration for Zhang Cheng. Both games are hits. This shows that Zhang Cheng is really talented in the field of game planning, plug-in. The company cannot rest on its laurels. We currently focus on casual mobile games and will not involve large-scale online mobile games for the time being. We will consider setting up a separate studio to enter these fields in the future. Zhang Cheng briefly mentioned the company's plans for the future. Development direction, which is to set goals for planners. What type of game do you think we can do next? Zhang Cheng asked the two of them. Dao Xingzhou thought for a while and then said, if it were me, I would choose to develop a racing game. I think we can develop puzzle casual games such as Sudoku games, Kai Fei then said. Zhang Cheng nodded, feeling that both of them still had some ideas, but they were not outstanding. The creativity is still not enough. I will give you 2 ideas now, and you will each produce a project planning document within a week. 1 week, time is a bit tight. Both of them were a little nervous, holding a notebook and preparing to write it down carefully. Zhang Cheng said, the first game is called Snake Battle. What needs to be achieved is that 10 people participate in each game. The snake starts from a small one. The more it eats, the bigger it will become. If it is touched by others, it will break into corresponding pieces. Any more little dots can be eaten, and whoever wins in the end will be the end. Both of their eyes lit up. This idea was very good. It turned the ordinary snake into a highly playable game. The second game, a city construction and development game, can be called Sim City. You start with a piece of land, develop residential areas, commercial areas and industrial areas, build various urban functional buildings, and unlock buildings according to different progress. The 2 ideas Zhang Cheng talked about were both games that were relatively good in the previous life and even became popular for a while. He doesn't have that much time to plan and write code himself now. Naturally, he has to take advantage of the people he recruits. Dao Xingzhou said excitedly, Mr. Zhang, I'm convinced. Your creativity is really amazing. Yeah, just hearing that makes me feel very attractive. Kai Fei also followed up with the praise. Zhang Cheng waved his hand, you choose one yourself, this is a matter of negotiation. Dao Xingzhou said anxiously, I choose Snake to fight. Obviously, Snake Battle is simpler. Kai Fei was not disappointed and still maintained his passion, then I will choose SimCity. Zhang Cheng nodded, okay, let's get to work. After sending the 2 of them away, Zhang Cheng and Chen Feng explained some things before returning to school. The company has slowly got on the right track. As long as he doesn't seek death and relies on the revenue from Subway Run, he will be able to live a very comfortable life. You must know that although 23 people are asking for salary now, it is only about 200,000 per month. Compared with the monthly profit of more than 2 million, it is not much. Zhang Cheng asked the finance department to put the 50,000 yuan monthly salary bonus sent to Studio 9 on his card and took it directly back to the dormitory. The dormitory was empty, and everyone didn't come back until after 10 o'clock in the evening. Hey, Zhang Cheng, you came back so early today? Hao Yongjun felt quite surprised. Normally, Zhang Cheng would study by himself at 10:30, and then run for 20 minutes before returning to the dormitory. Zhang Cheng explained, I went to the company in the afternoon. When I came back, I saw that you were not there, so I just studied in the dormitory. That's it. I heard that your company has expanded again and has hired more than 20 people. Awesome, third child, when will you take us to visit your company? Hao Yongjun patted Zhang Cheng on the shoulder and said with a smile. No problem, let's make an appointment to go there together on the weekend. Zhang Chengdao, speaking of which, our Sakai studio is also under the company's name. Zhu Jianjie smiled and said, are there many beauties? There are quite a few. Zhang Cheng recalled carefully, there should be 5 of them who are above average. Zhu Jian snorted, we must go. You haven't taken us there for so long. You are so heartless. Oh, you said I have no conscience. Zhang Cheng raised his eyebrows. I also said that I would give our studio a moisture bonus today. No, third brother, you are the most good person in China, and you have a very good conscience. Hao Yongjun was also a little curious. How much water was lost last month? Not bad, it's more than 2.1 million. After deducting related costs, it's about 1.4 million. Zhang Cheng said with an indifferent expression. Hey, that's a waste. Holy shit, your uncle, you made so much money all at once? Hao Yongjun was shocked. Zhang Cheng expressed his innocence. That's not bad. My monthly royalties from 2 novels are nearly 1 million. FK. I can't bear it anymore. Everyone, chop this pretender to death. Zhu Jian screamed, rushed over, and poked Zhang Cheng's smile. Under the calculations of the computer in Zhang Cheng's body, every move of the opponent was carefully calculated, and he blocked it directly with his hands. Okay, don't hit the rich, I will divide the land myself, right? Then he added, according to the previous distribution plan, the ratio is 4 to 3. 1.5. 1.5. I will get 20,000, the fourth will get 15,000, and the first and second eldest will get 7,500. Are there any problems? What's the problem? Neither of us has contributed much. It would be great if we could. Hao Yongjun laughed. Shu Saiyuan also smiled. It's better to stay in our dormitory. If you follow the third child, you can have meat to eat. This is a cash dividend that comes almost every month, and it is very likely that there will be more next month. How can these 3 people not be happy to have a third child who takes such good care of his roommates? All he had to do was ask Hao Yongjun to step down and replace him with the boss. Zhang Cheng quickly transferred the dividends to the 3 of them. Okay, you guys can check whether they have been received? No one can grab it tomorrow. I'll treat you to a feast. Crayfish, barbecue, whatever you want. Zhu Jian raised his hand and was very happy to grab the first batch. The courses for next semester are still not tight. But Zhang Cheng studied 2 majors, computer science and technology and software engineering, so it was still a bit tight. This stress is not about attending classes, but about in-depth study. If it was just a test, it couldn't be easier. Just like last semester, although Zhang Cheng didn't attend many classes, he got excellent grades in every subject, with perfect scores in several subjects. In terms of difficulty, or the circuit aspect, Zhang Cheng felt that it was a bit energy-consuming. What is time-consuming is still focused on the series of experiments in software engineering. During course experiments, Zhang Cheng often had no choice but to take classes. Think of it as consolidation training. However, although Zhang Cheng had basically memorized and mastered the circuit principles, it was still not enough to go deep into this area. Introduction to Very Large-Scale Integrated Circuit Design, Multisim 7 Circuit Design and Simulation Application. After reading these books, even Zhang Cheng's extremely powerful brain felt a little tired. It's so mind-numbing. However, fortunately, with the existence of the computer in Zhang Cheng's body, at least memory is not a problem. I just need to continue to improve my understanding. Zhang Cheng is designing a circuit that can display temperature. First, create a schematic library and define the IC pins. Then make a schematic diagram and connect the relevant components through wires. Regenerate the netlist and convert the schematic diagram into netlist. After passing the ERC rule check, I finally got the PCB through the netlist, a bunch of densely packed components, and countless flying wires. Just like building a house, Zhang Cheng also needs to consider how to design the number of layers on the board, which layer for signals, which layer for power supply, etc. This is really a great and complex project. This reminded Zhang Cheng of the computer's CPU. A small component the size of a fingernail actually integrates more than 1 billion transistors. Work hard, Zhang Cheng exhaled. To understand the secrets of the body, Zhang Cheng needs to go deeper in this aspect. After Zhang Cheng finished his self-study, he met Professor Yang Mingda as soon as he left the classroom. Professor Yang. Zhang Cheng was also a little surprised. He hadn't seen him for some days. Yang Mingda had a smile on his face. Xiao Zhang, are you attending class here? No, I was just studying on my own. Zhang Cheng stopped. Professor Yang, where have you been recently? I haven't seen you much. Yang Mingda said, oh, I went to Mai to attend an international conference last month and learned a lot. Now I am planning to conduct further research on face recognition algorithms in terms of neural networks. It just so happens that you can come too. Okay. Thank you, Professor Yang. I still have a lot to learn in this area. I don't know if I can help, Zhang Cheng said modestly. Yang Mingda waved his hand and said, "Hey, don't belittle yourself. I read the email you sent me. You have learned a lot in this area, and you are better than some of my graduate students." Professor Yang, you are exaggerating. Then it's settled. I still have classes. I won't talk to you anymore. Come to my lab next Monday. Yang Mingda nodded and left. It's face recognition again. Zhang Cheng felt that Yang Mingda had studied this area very deeply. Although the last experiment produced some results and was published in a paper, it had little practical application. Because the recognition rate is still not high enough. Just imagine, which machine uses this algorithm, identifies a problem, and causes losses. What should I do? Yang Mingda was able to change direction and move towards neural network algorithms, and Zhang Cheng felt that he was on the right track. However, as an undergraduate myself, I am judging the professor's way of doing things a bit too much.